Welcome back to the Well-Regulated Podcast. This is episode 13, lucky number 13. Man, it is crazy. We got a prison break in New Orleans. It happened at the jail, actually. So it wasn't really a prison break. It was a jailbreak. And the way they did it is pretty interesting. So let's just get right into it. So here we go. How did 10 New Orleans jail inmates get out? Photo shows escape route, notes to jailer. So I just wanted to show you some of the pictures real quick. Let's see if we can make this bigger here. Get rid of this ad. So it says, this photo shows the alleged escape route 11 New Orleans Parish Jail inmates used to escape overnight Friday. So the initial reporting said 11, but I think they said 10. So they have, they're pretty much trolling them. It says, fuck OPSO, suck my dick. Too easy, LOL, we innocent. So they were just, trolling them, We do
a little trolling. It's called we do a little trolling.
So they totally ripped the toilet and sink situation off the wall, as you can see here. And I've seen the hit Fox television show Prison Break up until the point where the guy escapes prison this exact way. He takes the toilet off the wall and is able to go through the wall. And I'm assuming, I didn't watch it all, but they escape, him and his friends and his brother or whatever. So here we go. We have the video also of them pulling the toilet out of the cell or whatever, or ripping it off the wall. So let's check that out. I think we got some sound here. No sound. Okay, well, let's check it out. This is like 2 minutes long. Oh, got to add, built this city on Quilted Northern. So, anyway, it's crazy. But stuff like this happens in New Orleans. So here they go. You can see him kind of like tugging on something through that cell door. All right. If this is just going to keep skipping and playing ads, I don't want anything to do with it. It'll be up here, I guess. The 10 Orleans Parish Jail inmates who escaped from prison overnight Friday cut through a wall and left notes to jailers. The image shows a large hole cut from behind the toilet. Around are graphic notes written in pen and a message that escaping was too easy. Of those inmates, Kendall Miles has been recaptured by 1 p.m. Friday with 9 still at large. So as of right now, I think there's only 7 still. So they caught 3 altogether. Sheriff Susan Hudson and New Orleans Police Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick said the public should stay vigilant and report anything they see to local law enforcement. The escapees should be considered armed and dangerous. Let's see. Here's the editor's note. First reported 11 inmates escaped, but it was actually 10. So there you go. We got some more. So let me queue up another one of these locals here. All right, none of the locals say exactly what these guys were in for, so let's check it out. This one's from Breitbart. So here we go. Hudson explained at an 8:30 press conference shortly after midnight they began pulling on a cell door to yank it off its tracks. They were able to break open the door. They were still able to exit the jail at 1:01 a.m. after breaching a wall behind a toilet in the jail. Video surveillance shows the inmates exiting the facility through a door on loading docks. From there, the escapees scaled a wall and fled across the interstate highway, which is I-10, which is right there. So in New Orleans, the jail is on like Tulane and Broad Street, and I-10 is off of Tulane, and yeah, it's right there. All right, here we go. Here's what these escaped people are accused of committing. Antoine Massey, domestic abuse and theft. I'm not going to go over their names. Illegal carrying of a weapon, illegal carrying of a weapon, intentional concealment of a weapon. Derek Groves, murder and attempted murder. Jermaine Donald, murder, aggravated battery. Corey Boyd, murder, attempted murder, aggravated battery. Gary Price, 3 counts of attempted murder. The sheriff blamed defective locks, which she had been complaining about for years, for the circumstances leading to the escape. Hudson added that the escapees may have received assistance from inside her jail. An internal investigation is underway. Attorney General said somebody clearly dropped the ball and there's no excuse for this. Louisiana State Police reported the arrest of one of the escapees, Kendall Miles. Miles was facing a charge of intentionally concealment of a weapon. His arrest followed a short foot pursuit that ended on Royal Street. So that was in the French Quarter. Man, that's crazy. Wow. We got 7 men still on the run. 7 men, including 1 convicted and 4 killings and others charged with murder, remained on the run after a breakout at New Orleans jail that officials fear may have been enabled by help from within their own ranks. This sheriff, she's blaming everybody but her own leadership, you know? A total of 10 men had participated in the brazen overnight escape by fleeing through a hole behind a toilet and scaling a wall, while the lone guard assigned to their cell pod was away. 3 of the escapees have been captured within hours. Surveillance footage shared with the media during a news conference showed that the escapees sprinting out of the facility, some wearing orange clothing and others in white. They scaled the fence using blankets to avoid being cut by the barbed wire, and then some could be seen sprinting across the nearby interstate and into a neighborhood. More about the photograph. Officials from the sheriff's office say no deputy was at the pod where the fugitives had been held. There was a technician, a civilian, there to observe the pod, but she stepped away to get food. Soon after the escape, attempted murder suspect Kendall Miles, 20, was apprehended after a brief foot chase through the French Quarter. He had previously escaped twice from juvenile detention centers. So Kendall Miles is he's already a pretty experienced escaper. So, man, I wonder if he hadn't done the toilet before and he was just crossing it off the list. By Friday evening, 2 more fugitives had been captured. Officials found battery suspect Robert Moody in New Orleans Central City section thanks to Crime Stoppers tip. According to the office. And they found DeKennan Dennis, an armed robbery suspect, was found near an eastern New Orleans highway, the Louisiana Attorney General said. The sheriff, Susan Hudson, said the men were able to get out of the Justice Center because of, quote, defective locks. She said she had continually raised concern about the locks. Ain't she the fucking sheriff? So she's in charge of corrections, in charge of the jail. So why didn't she just put a work order in? You know what I mean? Just like blaming everybody. It was the locks. It was the locks. It wasn't my fault. I'm not in charge, but I am. Hudson said that there are indications that people inside of her own department helped the fugitives escape. It's almost impossible, not completely, but almost impossible for anyone to get out of this facility without help. She just said that it was because of defective locks, though. So is it the locks or is it inside help? Is it both? It was just a perfect storm of events. The escapees yanked open a door to enter the cell with the hole at about 1 a.m. At least one of the steel bars protecting plumbing fixtures appeared to have been intentionally cut using a tool, according to a statement from the sheriff's office. The men shed their jail uniforms once out of the facility, and it's still unclear how some of them obtained regular clothes so quickly. 3 sheriff employees have been placed on suspension pending the outcome of an investigation. The escapees range in age from 19 to 42. Most are in their 20s. One of the fugitives, Derek Groves, was convicted on 2 charges of second-degree murder and 2 charges of attempted second-degree murder at a trial in October for his role in a quadruple shooting on Fat Tuesday in 2018. He also pled guilty to 2 charges of manslaughter in connection with the double killing in 2017 and an unrelated charge of battery of a corrections facility employee filed against him in April 2024. Murder convictions carry mandatory life imprisonment, but he remained at New Orleans jail rather than at a state prison after his attorney was suspended from practicing law, where there were post-conviction proceedings related to the double murder trial pending against him. Man, even his lawyer was crooked, it sounds like. Law enforcement warned that Groves may attempt to locate witnesses in the murder trial. Jesus Christ. 4 others, Corey Boyd, Lenton Van Buren, Jermaine Donald, and Leo Tate, are charged with murder. Gary Price is charged with attempted murder. Hudson said the police department was actively working with local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies to search for the fugitive. Hudson said the jail is about 60% staffed. Man, this is nuts. So after all that, you still have the police chief coming out and saying, like, there's nothing to worry about. So let me pull this up. All right, here we go. NOLA.com. People shouldn't panic. NOPD chief Happy Gilmore's grandmother says after jailbreak, 7 inmates still wanted. Oh, nope. 3 escaped inmates have been arrested and 7 are still missing after jailbreak overnight. They put out a reward. Quote, "We will deem all escapees as Louisiana state prisoners," Hodges said. "They will not be booked into Orleans Parish. Instead of returning to the jail, those arrested will be sent to the state prison." Safety fears. Kirkpatrick said NOPD has taken steps to protect crime victims and judges who are concerned for their safety. "We made sure that our children were looked after. We sent NOPD cards out to the schools to have a higher presence. When asked if the general public should be concerned for their safety, officials reiterated that the inmates are considered dangerous and that people should be cautious but continue about their lives. People shouldn't panic. I think you should still fully enjoy graduation ceremonies, dinner out. Just simply continue living and enjoying your life. Just be cautious." This lady is so out of touch. She's not from the city. She's older than dirt and clearly does not have a grasp of the situation that's been going on. We just read that one of these guys was going after witnesses involved in his case. And she's coming out saying, just live your life. Just be a little cautious. God, this is crazy. News of a shooting in New Orleans East fueled rumors that it was related to one of the inmates, but Kirkpatrick said that officers happened to overhear an exchange of gunfire in the neighborhood that was unrelated to the escape. 10 inmates were discovered missing during the daily head count the next morning at 8:30. So they had 7.5 hour head start on the police from when they escaped. It said they escaped at 1:01. The Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office released surveillance video that showed the escape starting at 12:22, where inmates managed to open a sliding cell door and more inmates entered the cell. Photos show a square hole cut. After reviewing physical security infrastructure revealed signs of tampering prior to escape. Steel bars protecting the plumbing fixtures were intact. After the escape, at least one steel bar appeared to have been intentionally cut. By 1 a.m., they could be seen exiting a loading dock using a blanket to scale barbed wire fencing. All right, here's a picture of all these guys. So all my NOLA peeps fucking be on the lookout. I think these three are captured. Well, I don't know. Usually they have the picture with the X's over the face. We don't need your name. We just want your information, Kirkpatrick said. So call Crime Stoppers. So they don't want your name. So fuck off about that reward. All right. We got videos, though. We got the videos. So here we go. Here's all of them running out. We got them running out of the jail. Let's see. You guys ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There he is. Oh, that one fell. Let's go back. I want to watch that guy fall again. Oh. All right. You got volume on here or what? All right. Here's the toilet. Man, this is exactly like Prison Break. They must have had that playing inside the jail one night or something on movie night. I don't know what they do there. All right. What else? I think we got another one. Okay, let's listen. We got the police chief, Happy Gilmore's grandma, giving a press conference. So let's listen to this.
Superintendent, we know that these inmates went missing around sometime after midnight. The sheriff's office didn't find out until 8:30 this morning. The public was not notified until sometime after 10 o'clock this morning. How crucial is time to, number one, recapture these individuals, but also to alert partner agencies as well as the public to be on the lookout for these people?
Well, that's why I'm here. So I only learned about it as well. And I spoke with the sheriff, and she was going to be doing her media response, was we wanted to give her that opportunity to do so. And I understand that she has, but we were not going to wait. So when we learned about it, we knew the immediacy to at least inform the public. Even if we didn't have pictures ready and all of the names ready, we didn't have that either. But we need to let our public know.
What a major lack of communication between departments. The sheriff's office should have let the police department know, like, instantly. She's saying she didn't even know the names of the people that escaped. Just let people that escaped.
Again, if you see something and you feel that it's not, a hunch is okay, folks. You just call us and we're going to check that out.
Do you feel like she should have notified sooner?
You know,
yes.
So we'll deal with that at another time.
That means yes. Yes. Not we'll deal with it at another time.
But we are working collaboratively as we always have. But we, wanted to immediately notify our public because we knew that these escapees would be in our city.
Is it concerning to you that you all were not notified until 10:30 when they knew about this at an 8:30 head count?
Of course, it's concerning. Of course it is.
Yeah.
But these are things that we can work out. The issue is more immediate than are we concerned.
How were you all NOPD able to apprehend that one escapee who is in custody?
If I'm not mistaken, it was through a camera Is that right? Now, y'all, we through Project NOLA, the cameras do have facial recognition technology. And
Yeah,
I'm gonna get
in
into
New
it other
Orleans,
than to tell you.
they got Project NOLA, which it's like a community, it's like a private and public like program where they have all these cameras interfaced throughout the city, and they all got like facial recognition. I got a video on my channel of one of them kind of following me around. And you know, there are residents who are like, yeah, put them up in my yard around my house, and like all the businesses in the French Quarter have them. So it's a good tool when used correctly, but in this case, it worked out well. But once they start infringing on everyday people's rights, you know.
This is the exact reason why facial recognition technology is so critical and is well within our boundaries of the ordinance here, because we are allowed to use facial recognition technology in an event just like this, okay? And so we are already using our technology to leverage and help us, and I believe that was how we got an identification.
Superintendent.
So there's that. That is how we got the identification. I think I have some more things saved here. Let's see. We got the escape. 10 people escaped. Guess I have nothing saved there. I think it's all on Instagram. So let me pull. Oh, you know, while I'm pulling that up, I wanted to show you guys this. So, of course, I'm still, or my wife is still registered to the NOLA Ready alerts. NOLA Ready, the city of New Orleans. The following message is from NOLA Ready Emergency Alert System. NOPD is assisting OPSO after subjects escape custody. There is no known threat, but stay away and report suspicious activity. Be safe. So this was sent yesterday at 1:34 p.m. That is already 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. 5 hours after they discovered that these people were missing. These very dangerous people were missing that they said were hunting down witnesses to their court case. But here it says there's no known threat. So what the fuck, New Orleans? We got a second inmate has been captured. We got a third inmate has been captured. But still, yeah, like what the fuck? Like, were they not going to let him know? That's crazy. All right. Where do I find my bookmarks? Profile. Saved. All right. Let's see. Wet my whistle here real quick. All right, here we go. We got some stuff.
Say, do you want to speak to the people? I think everybody's live in here. Do you want to say you're sorry to the people of New Orleans for having this happen? I mean, we've heard from you several times today, but do you want to offer any kind of contrition or apology to people for something like this happening?
Well, first we have to find out exactly what happened and how
So
they
no.
got out. We think this was intentional. There is much more than meets the eye.
It was clearly
in this
intentional by the inmates.
And why did it happen just right now, right? In the middle, as we're getting ready to start this sheriff's race. This is very suspicious. We know that they had help. We're showing you they had help. This was coordinated.
You're not
There's
showing
much
us
more
they
than
had
meets the eye.
help. You're just
When I
showing
have
us
enough
inmates
information,
escaping.
I'll be glad to talk to the community about my issues or what I need, anything I may need to apologize for. But what I'm telling I'm not finished. But what I'm telling the community, this is a public safety issue first and foremost. There's much more than meets the eye. We are digging, and we are not going to stop till we find out what's happening.
So there you go from the sheriff. It's not her fault. She doesn't have anything to apologize for. She's not in charge, I guess, even though she's the sheriff and is up for re-election clearly. And this just happened during the time of the re-election race, so clearly it's an inside job. This lady is tripping, bro. Like, that's crazy. How is she's like, this is crazy. Politicians, huh? Here we go. We got another video.
The whole, this is, so,
This video is like out of a movie. It is.
We'll provide this to y'all as well.
so you see them jarring open the door, they get it open, subsequently they go inside that cell, and this is where you see them exiting the loading dock door. As you know,
That guy
if you
falls.
notice, they are carrying blankets with them. This road that they're going out of is behind this building, as I explained. They subsequently go through another door, and here,
Here's the interstate.
at some point you will see them come through here, and they scale the fence through this door that's near the construction site. They scale that fence, and then make good on their escape, crossing all lanes of I-10.
All lanes of I-10. All 8 or 10 lanes of it.
That's where you can see them going across that street.
Here's a comment. What
In
a
that
time
case,
to
as,
be alive. Keep making us proud, NOLA. Yeah, for real. Let's see, we got any more? Just the video again. We just saw that. The toilet where they were they were doing their
We do a little trolling. It's called
where they were trolling. But there you go. Here's some close-ups. So this is just like Prison Break, dude. I'm telling you, they must have been playing that. And yeah, skinny dude could fit through that, no problem. It's nuts. It's wild. It's wild. There's some stuff about this other lady. Let's see, New Orleans. Here we go. This is the New Orleans police spokeswoman. She's actually the sheriff's spokeswoman. So let's listen to her.
Good afternoon, all. I am Major Stephanie Minter Gibson, and I oversee the Crime Victims Unit for the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office. Once I was notified about the escapees, I immediately gathered a team of experienced staff, and we started calling victims and survivors just to make sure that they are aware of what was going on and that they are safe. For the records that had no information, I immediately
And let the
reached out
public
to
know.
our partners. Partners such as NOPD Special Victims Unit, Detective Walton, who was very grateful in helping us, and she provided us with other information that we were able to call those families and help them as well. Once
But they
we
didn't
finished
call
the first batch
the
of victims,
police chief.
we started calling the second batch, and actually the reason why I'm saying that is because I separated them. The chief from the DA's office, victims, Alison Morgarder, reached out to me, and we both were calling victims. What she had and I did not have, we shared information, and we both gathered all the information, and we made sure all victims were aware of what was going on. Most of the victims were very grateful for the calls. They graciously thank us. We additionally sent our detectives to their homes for more safety measures, and that alone speak measures. I strongly encourage
Because the public wasn't at risk, right? Except that these guys were hunting down witnesses.
all
Which is why they sent all these detectives and police to these victims' house, right? Because there's no threat.
to educate the community on the importance
Just stay
of
cautious.
Blind Link.
And what's with these fucking glasses, dude?
This is a free app.
Is she trying to be
that is
serious?
listed online, and it is also a guide for victims and survivors to track offenders while they navigate the criminal justice system. The number for Vine is 1.
Like, for real though, are those like her everyday glasses, or like did she couldn't find her real glasses and was like, fuck, I'm gonna have to wear the fucking backup pair? Because Like, how are you supposed to be taken seriously looking like a fucking clown?
800-277-7477. I'm sorry, it's 1-866-277-7477.
She can't even read.
We are located here on the 3rd floor of the Sheriff's Office, and our contact number here is 504-827-6754, 504-2.
Here we go. How did 8 prisoners escape under this woman's watchful eyes, you know? Pretty much. What else we got? Here we go. That's one captured. Where we got the latest. We want the latest. Here we go. What's this? This is live. Willie Williams was live. Let's see. 10 escaped through a hole. I think this is the one we just watched. New Orleans police captain wears ridiculous glasses as murderers roam free. She's not a police captain. She's with the sheriff's department. Why do you guys keep mixing that up? It's different. In New Orleans, the sheriff's department is purely in charge of corrections. And then you got the sheriff, Susan Hudson, trying not to take any blame about this, saying it was an inside job and it's happening right during the election and all this shit. Well, she should be fucking voted out. She's shitty at her job. During fucking Mardi Gras, she pulled a bunch of sheriff's deputies to work the Mardi Gras routes, even though NOPD had help from around the state from police departments. You saw it. She said that they have a 60% employment, or they have the jail is 60% staffed. So at 60% staff, you're still pulling staff out of there to go fucking work Mardi Gras. Give me a fucking break. Get that lady out of there. Here we go. We got some more.
11 individuals that had breached or escaped our custody.
So this
those individuals
11.
Right now were named. So 1 through 11, Antoine Massey. All of these are adult males, if you will. Linton Van Buren.
You're just saying their names, okay. Yeah, it looks like there's nothing new. So far, it's just been the 3. Let's see. Yeah, I should know we had the barriers. That's an old one. That's old. Here's them catching one of them in the French Quarter. That's nuts. Terrorist attacks, incompetent leadership. What's it going to take, New Orleans? This is crazy. What's it really going to take for you guys to wake up? But now, as long as you guys get to keep drinking in the street, right? Fuck it. You'll take anything. Just stay complacent. Stay in your shithole. Man. And good luck out there. Make sure you guys stay well regulated out there. Damn. Man, I do not want to be in New Orleans right now. I can tell you that much. So, man, that's so crazy. But make sure you guys are following me everywhere. Make sure you leave a like on this video if you liked it, of course. And make sure you leave a comment about what you think about all the craziness in New Orleans. Make sure that you follow me on YouTube here, of course, where we got all the playlists. We got the WellRegulated Podcast, belts, stealth camping, fire, tools, knives, all that good stuff, you know. Follow me on Rumble. I got a pretty sweet Rumble channel. It's actually, the same as the YouTube channel. Sometimes we post some extra stuff there. And follow me on X, where we bring the spies. Don't panic. Happy Gilmore's grandma's on the case. Like I said, post some videos up here. And yeah, just make sure you guys follow me everywhere. It's getting crazy out there, guys. I don't know. Even here in New Mexico, things are crazy. They're getting off a consent decree, kind of like New Orleans is trying to do, which I don't think this is helping. The prison break did not help their case. Let's see. This one's got a video at least.
Assistant helps me compare two different.
Let's let it queue up because, of course, I never have them ready. You know how we roll here on the Well-Regulated Podcast. All right, here we go. It's almost there.
For more than a decade, Albuquerque police have been under the oversight of the Department of Justice.
I certainly believe that we will hand off this department in better shape than we found it.
It was a tough response after Albuquerque was rocked by massive protests after the feds found a pattern of excessive force, most notably in the infamous death of James Boyd in the Albuquerque foothills.
Guy was homeless and they murdered him.
And frankly, against the odds, we have delivered.
But now the city says they've changed and they're ready to move on.
The team that stands for New Mexico. You're watching KOB4 News at 6.
This is a victory for the men and women of the Albuquerque Police Department who have changed their culture. They are the ones that have put the most blood, sweat, and tears into this.
Tonight, the Albuquerque Police Department is making a move to be released from the Department of Justice oversight. In court filings, the Justice Department and APD agree that compliance has been met. I want to thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Zach Rael.
Ooh, behind the scenes.
The DOJ has been looming over APD since 2014. The DOJ court agreement has long been blamed as a burden on Albuquerque police, while other critics argue that it doesn't go far enough. Our Monica Longronio is joining us now live from our newsroom. And Monica, city leaders were boasting a lot of accomplishments today, but there's also those who say there's more work to do. What still has to happen?
Well, Zach, first of all of this still needs to be signed off by a federal judge. Chief Harold Medina also says he hopes future Albuquerque leaders will continue the DOJ reforms. Now, those reforms included guidelines for guns, recording devices like lapel cams, and how use of force cases are investigated and reported. The DOJ says APD has maintained full compliance, and it is now, quote, appropriate to end federal oversight and return full control of the local law enforcement to the city. But again, this is not a done deal. It has to still be approved by a federal judge.
So we will await the court's ruling. I just remind the public that this was not only approved by the Department of Justice and the city, it was approved by the other party in this matter, the union, as well as the court monitor.
Now, another concern or hope brought up by Mayor Tim Keller.
This is the exact same thing that's going on in New Orleans. Federal oversight in New Orleans. It's called a consent decree. They're not calling it that here. But it looks like Albuquerque has been successful in getting off of it. Meanwhile, in New Orleans, as you see, they have crazy stuff going on and are still thinking like they can get off of it.
Is that he believes enough changes have taken place to outlast his administration. But Chief Medina pleaded with future city leaders to keep the reforms going.
I hope and I pray that the future leaders of this department continue to respect what was built, and that we must always be looking to see how we could improve, and that sometimes, in order to be able to improve, we must admit that we were wrong.
The city has not been without its critics during this whole process, not just from the police officers union, but also from activists who say there are still too many deadly shootings from police.
There's this real disconnect between what we're hearing from the independent monitor, from the Department of Justice, from the court process about the consent decree, and then what we're experiencing in our community.
Well, tell us the differences.
That was Daniel
what are we
Williams
hearing?
Like,
you can't just make a claim without
on a police
the
shooting.
evidence.
With the police and now the DOJ saying they're in full compliance, we asked Williams today if he thinks anything has changed.
We've seen, especially the last couple of years, APD really starting to check those boxes and get into technical compliance with the CASA. Unfortunately, New Mexico still leads the nation in terms of per capita people killed by police, and APD does account for a big part of that.
Now, one thing the ACLU and the city leaders do agree on is that this will be a new phase. Mayor Tim Keller recognized we could still see some bad apples in the department, but the difference is how the city and APD will deal with them.
Will there be bad actors in the police department? That will also happen. The difference is that
he doesn't have very much confidence.
And we will efficiently get the bad actors out of the department.
Monica, that is a lot to take in. There is certainly a lot of movement here in New Mexico to end the DOJ oversight, but there's also movement in Washington. What do we know about that?
Well, Zach, just a couple of weeks ago, President Donald Trump signed an executive order telling Attorney General Pam Bondi to review any ongoing federal agreements with local police departments to either modify, take back, or conclude those agreements. However, that was not brought up as a motive in today's news conference. Now, it's also worth noting Albuquerque police say they were already in 100% primary compliance a year ago and 96% operational compliance. Zach.
All right, Monica, thank you for your reporting. And as you heard, there are multiple people. This issue is not over yet. We will continue to follow how the DOJ oversight ends for Albuquerque police and how reforms continue with complete coverage on air and online over at KOB.
I'm Albert Velarde.
All right, guys, there you have it. APD's consent decree is ending just in time for them to hire non-citizen cops and bring in the National Guard to police you. Man, this is getting crazy. There's so many parallels between these two places that I lived, you know. It's just nuts. It's crazy. It's like I didn't really move. Oh, man. I love Louisiana. Sounds like New Orleans is having a rough time. So I hope you guys fucking figure it out because it's not looking good. For all my people in New Orleans, you heard it. There's nothing to worry about. But those guys are hunting people down, witnesses. So stay well regulated out there. Keep your head on a swivel. Watch your six. For my people here in New Mexico, just get ready. Things are getting crazy. Police are about to get let loose from that federal oversight just in time for the non-citizen cops to come in. We'll see how it all goes down. I'll be watching that National Guard story closely. There weren't really any updates to that. Just Memorial Day weekend is supposed to be the deployment date. So we'll keep our eyes out on that. And of course, we'll be watching this New Orleans prison break story. As always, guys, it's fucking crazy out there. So stay well regulated. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.